Bum ba bum ba 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 bum bum ba 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 bum bum ba 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 bum ba da bum ba bum. Yub nub, everybody. I'm some loudmouth on the internet with an opinion, and it is month of December, the most wonderful time of the year. Yes, it's that magical, wonderful time of the year when Disney gets ready to release a new Star Wars movie. Yep, we are getting the first spin-off Star Wars live-action movie that isn't part of the episode structure of the main series. Ha ha ha! No, it's not the first live-action spin-off Star Wars movie. It's just the first one being released in the theaters. We still have yet another Ewok adventure to look at. Yep, that's right. Not only did they make a movie entirely about the Ewoks, which of course I reviewed last year, please check out that review before you finish this one, but a year later in 1985, it actually got a sequel that continued where the first Ewok movie left off. The second film is known as Ewoks: The Battle for Endor. A bit of a confusing title, because that heavily implies this movie is about the Battle of Endor that ended the original Star Wars trilogy in Return of the Jedi. Nope. Has nothing to do with that whatsoever. Instead, this movie tells a much more important story. So let's review Ewoks: Battle for Endor and see if it's a worthy Star Wars adventure or something that should be kept far, far away. We open this movie peacefully enough in a beautiful Endor meadow. Yeah, we know this movie has to be set before the events of Return of the Jedi, because if it were after, everyone would be dead. Endor is doomed. That exploding moon-sized station right in Endor's orbit would definitely have bad side effects on the main planet, or at least some portion of it unless the rebels cleared up all the debris for them before it hit the planet. Yeah, I'm thinking about that too much. We see Sindel, the girl from the first movie, playing with Wicket the Ewok, and we hear that Wicket, in the time between the first and second movie, has apparently learned a lot more basic.
We could go to school.
Yes, you could come with us.
No, Ewok live here. Wicked family here.
Which leaves you wondering just how long before Return of the Jedi is this set, since he seems to have forgotten all of this basic he learned by the time Return of the Jedi rolls around. Unfortunately, all this happy-go-lucky playtime is interrupted by a gang of space marauders who attack the Ewok village, killing many Ewoks in the process. And I'm kind of left wondering why this gang of nobody space pirates are more effective against the Ewoks than an entire legion of Emperor Palpatine's best troops. I'll let him speak for himself again.
An entire legion of my best troops awaits them.
God, that line bites that movie in the ass. Sindel runs across her brother Mace, who's in a firefight with the Marauders, until both Mace and his mother are shot dead. Holy shit! Sindel, running away from that whore, finds her father is still alive, but is being violently interrogated by the Marauders.
I want the power. You will give it to me now.
I haven't got anything that's valuable here. We're strangers here.
Is this not a hidden ship? Are you not got enough the power?
I don't know what you're talking about. No, please.
I see the acting hasn't improved much since the first movie. Sindel's father manages to escape into the woods until the human lady hanging out with the Marauders does this. That's just silly.
No, Daddy, I want to stay with you.
No, sweetheart, you can't do that. You have to go on without me.
Sindel's father sends her away to run for her life, while making a heroic final stand, until he meets a grisly end as well. Yeah, people, in the first 10 minutes of this movie, Sindel's entire family is brutally murdered. Keep in mind, these are supposed to be the more child-friendly Star Wars movies. Not to mention, when the entire first movie revolved around trying to rescue and save a pair of characters, it's very mean-spirited to make a sequel that kills them off in the first few minutes. And they said The Empire Strikes Back was dark. Sindel is captured shortly and put in a giant lizard-driven cage reminiscent of the opening of Planet of the Apes, and the captured Ewoks manage to break a hole in the bottom of the wagon, but unfortunately, most of them are too large to fit, except Wicket and Sindel. So the two of them run for their lives into a cave, and Wicket is able to, rather quickly, build his own hang glider. Damn, those little buggers are efficient. Seriously, if they're that good at building things, I wonder why the Ewoks don't rule the Star Wars galaxy. Turns out this was a very, very convenient decision for Wicket to make, because the cave they were hiding in is actually already occupied by, get this, a dragon. You know, I'll give this movie some credit. That is a very good special effect for a mid-80s television special. Overall, the effects in this movie are definitely improved over its predecessor, but we're going to see a big flub in these special effects in just a moment. The Endor dragon picks up Sindel and flies her into the air, and it's here where you get one of the biggest continuity errors in this movie. There is a huge flub here in the fact that the creature seems to dramatically change size between shots. Seriously, look at this. Now let's pause it right here. See? Pay attention to the size of the dragon's foot next to Sindel as it carries her through the air. Okay, what the hell, movie? The dragon, just between those two shots, which are only seconds apart, increases in size at least 10 times fold. Damn it, movie. You almost had a really cool sequence if you had just taken the time to get your continuity straight. Wicket manages to get the dragon to drop Sindel, but instead of falling to her death as would really happen, Wicket manages to swing down to save her before she could hit the ground. Bullshit! Not too familiar with the laws of physics, are you, movie? There's absolutely no way in hell a glider with air resistance would be able to fall faster than Sindel, who is a free-falling object falling from a lower altitude. Physics! But Wicket and Sindel do somehow land safely on the ground, and the next morning they meet this thing. It's like Quicksilver's dumb pet.
What's that? Trouble.
You know, Sindel is taking the fact that just a day earlier her entire family was brutally murdered a little bit too well, don't you think? They follow the thing, and even though it's clearly running at like 100 miles per hour, they still somehow manage to keep up with it, and it leads them to a house which turns out to be occupied by an old man, Noah, played by Wilford Brimley.
You nasty little bug lover, I've told you and I've told you I don't want no strangers around this place, and look, I don't want you here, get out!
At first he acts all mean and kicks them out of his house.
Strangers.
But then old man Noah shows he has a heart after all, and he invites them back in.
I don't want no strangers around here. Besides, if I did let them stay, first thing you know, they'd want to be friends or something.
Best friend.
Yes, best friend.
All right, what are you two little wood rats trying to do? Burn down the whole forest? I ain't gonna let you build one of these fires, you know, unless you build it in a fireplace. Proper place for a fire is a fireplace. So you can have this fire tonight, but tomorrow you gotta go. Do you understand me?
How cute. We then cut to the Marauders' castle headquarters, where they are trying to figure out how to get the magic of the ship's power to work.
Darling, it is the power I've searched.
Apparently they're primitives who think standard technology in the Star Wars galaxy is magic.
You will discover its magic or die.
If only you hadn't let that child escape. She must know its secrets.
How dare you suggest that I am to blame?
Well, how can I?
Find me that child!
Find me that child! Yeah, talking through that mask was a little bit difficult, wasn't it? Sindel and Wicket follow Noah as he leaves for the day and see that he is his own crashed spaceship.
Oh, look what it is.
Sparkles are crush, crush.
But Wicket eventually falls into one of Noah's traps, and Noah confesses where he came from.
Shouldn't come around here. It's dangerous.
How'd you get here?
A long time ago,
In a galaxy far, far away,
my friend Salak and I.
We were a couple of young fellas out to tear up the galaxy. On our first mission, we crashed. Here. I've been here ever since. I don't even know how long I've been here.
Where's your friend?
I don't know. My friend Sally. He's not coming back. I know that now. I guess I've known it a long, long time.
Do you think Salik is dead?
I think so. But now he must be.
My family is too.
You miss him?
Mm-hmm. I miss him a lot.
They're not gone, you know. Right here in your heart. Did you know that? Can you remember the last thing your father said to you?
Hmm.
What?
I'll always be with you.
See what I mean? And if you remember that, and if you remember all the things he said to you, and if you remember how much he loved you, then he'll never be gone.
missed opportunity movie. Wouldn't it have been way cooler if he said that they now live on through the Force, and if you learn to quiet your mind, you'll hear them speaking to you? Unfortunately, they're quickly discovered by the Raven Lady, who really doesn't belong in a Star Wars movie. Seriously, if stones exist in the Star Wars universe that allow you to become an animagus, why'd Darth Vader wear a mechanical suit all those years? Why didn't he just go find one of these stones and transform himself into his younger, handsome self, but with an even bigger penis or something? The possibilities are endless! Sindel walks out of the woods following some music, and there is, I'm not making this up, a woman dressed in white, sitting next to the water, next to a white horse.
I've been waiting for you. Come to me, my little one. Will you hand me my robe?
I told you there was no escape.
So Sindel wasn't scared of the horse when it was white, but when the horse turns black, all of a sudden she knows it must be evil. This movie is racist. Wicket and Noah follow the witch back to the Marauder's castle, as Sindel is taken before the head Marauder, who demands Sindel make the power of the crystals work, being still ignorant about the technology in the Star Wars galaxy.
My little princess has come to help Terra learn the ways of the power.
What have you done with the Ewoks? You better not have hurt them.
Oh, I won't hurt them. Not if you make this work.
What do you mean?
Use your magic.
I don't know anything about magic.
All I want is the power. Make it work!
You know, it's said that advanced technology would be indistinguishable from magic to a primitive mind, so maybe this is some kind of commentary on the ignorance and nature of superstition, or maybe I'm just looking too much into that. Furiously, the Marauder King imprisons Sindel and says that he will kill her and all the captive Ewoks at dawn if Sindel doesn't use her magic powers for him that, of course, she does not possess. All hope seems lost for Sindel, except that later that day, Tweak, Wicket, and Noah break into the fortress, and they mostly utilize Tweak's speed powers to help them rescue her.
Get it done. Sonst du
You know, it occurs to me, I've never seen any debates on any Star Wars forums on which one of them shot first. So they break out the other Ewoks and blast their way out of the fortress. But not without Noah taking the power cell he can use to power his ship.
What about your friend Sally? They killed him for the power thing.
No! No! It's mine!
Convenient. As the Ewoks escape, the Marauders go out after them on horseback, back to the woods, and we finally get the titular Battle for Endor, where the Ewoks fight off the Marauders in a similar fashion to their fight with the Stormtroopers in Return of the Jedi. Hell, I could argue this fight is better than the one at the end of Return of the Jedi, because at least here, it's one group of primitives versus another group of primitives. Thus, this seems like a fair fight. This whole war sequence is actually quite a bit of fun to watch. Particularly it's fun watching these goofy teddy bear outfits go around shooting people with laser cannons. Alright, it's just a blast. And with the help of all these laser cannons, they managed to drive back the Marauders.
I'm the devil!
They're all running away. Everything's okay now.
So the Marauder King grabs Sindel, and this leads to them fighting over the power source between Noah and the Marauder King. The Force, it's calling to you, Noah. Just let it in. The fight starts to go badly until this happens. That's just unusual. On top of being shocked at this movie's dark, disturbing imagery, I really wonder why the same stone that turns one lady into a bird can turn the Marauder King into a rotting corpse. I mean, how does this thing work? What are the rules in this universe, damn it? Now that Disney owns Star Wars, we can now dispatch our villains in a much more humane way. We need to have more of them fall to their deaths. So with the Marauders defeated, Noah and Sindel leave the planet using the power source to repair the ship, and they all say goodbye to their friends on Endor.
Kid, you're my very best friend.
Best friend, best friend.
I'm gonna miss you. I'll come back and visit you as soon as I can.
Please come back.
I'll come back and visit you both.
Please, Disney, let's see them come back. You could bring back the same actress as an adult and have it set right before the events of The Force Awakens. That would actually be a pretty cool project for the Disney Channel. Noah and Sindel blast off into space as they wave their friends goodbye, and the movie comes to a close. So that was Ewoks Battle for Endor, and it's sometimes really cute and also sometimes a bit shocking. Throughout this movie, I'm still a bit weirded out that a movie full of a bunch of teddy bear people befriending a little girl would have things as dark as having the whole family the first movie revolved around getting murdered. It also carries over many of the same problems from the first movie, like stilted acting and bizarre nonsensical fantasy elements that do little but confuse the audience. But despite that, I think this one's a bit better than the last. Its acting isn't quite as terrible, its sense of pacing is better with less moments that bore the audience, the special effects are improved with none that stick out like a sore thumb like some moments from the first movie. Overall, it's a silly little fantasy movie like the first one was, and if your kids can handle some of its darker elements, they might actually enjoy this one. But Lucas wasn't quite done with the Ewoks yet. We will quickly follow this up with an animated series that ran on ABC television Saturday mornings, but by the time the 90s rolled around, the whole Ewok craze kinda died down. Lucas attempted to replace it with a different character that shall not be named. So everybody, happy Life Day, Yub Nub Go Nub, and may this thing, something be with you. I'm some Loudmouth on the internet, and you just heard my opinion. If you like this video, please consider making a donation to my Patreon. Thank you.
An entire legion of my best troops awaits them.